Hey guys, it's been a while. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be making a tutorial of this simple boo-boo dress with the net. So if this is something you like to learn, kindly stay tuned to the end. So for this tutorial we are going to be using this fabric. This is Ankara print of 3 yards. This Duchess fabric is what will pipe the sleeve, and this net is what we use at the upper part. Then the bias is what we use to pipe the net. So let's go ahead and start cutting. So for now I've folded my fabric into 4. So I'm trying to measure the length of the fabric. The length that I'm going for is 45 inches, which is the length of my short gown. So the next thing I'm going to do is to measure where I want my sleeve to reach. So I want my sleeve to be like midpoint of my shoulder to my elbow. So I'm going to measure like 16 inches from the center back. So I measured 16 inches. That's how long I want my sleeve to be. So that's what I'm marking out there. So after marking that, I'm going to go ahead and measure my shoulder slope. So the slope I'm going for is 1.5 inches. Then I'm going to go ahead and measure the neck width. So after checking this thing that I'm using, the style that I'm using, I realized that the neck is not wide. So I'm going to just measure 3.5 for my neck width. So from that neck width down to the shoulder slope, I'm just going to form my shoulder slope like so. So after forming the shoulder slope, the next thing I'm going to do is to go ahead and insert my neck depth. For the front panel, I'm using 3.5 as well, so I connected it to the neck width. And for the back panel, I'm going to use 2 inches. I would have used 1 inch, but I don't like it when the clothes is too tight on my neck. So I used 2 inches for the back panel. So the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do is to insert my vertical measurements, which is my bust point. I'm going to insert my bust points, my waistline, my hip line. But before then, I'm going to mark my sleeve opening. So the sleeve opening I went for was 10 inches. So I'm going to now insert my bust point and my waistline and my hip line. So after inserting that, I'm going to go ahead and insert my circumference. So my bust circumference is 43 inches divided by 4, that's 10.75, and that's what I'm marking out there. And I'm going to add 1 inch allowance to it for ease. It's a boo-boo dress, you don't have to be tightly fitted on the body. And I'm going to add 1 inch for seam allowance. So I'm going to repeat the same for the waist. Insert my waist circumference divided by 4 and add 2 inches, 1 inch for ease and 1 inch for seam allowance. And that's exactly what I'm going to measure on my hip line as well. And once I measure it on the hip line, I'm going to just connect the 3 points together and then slant it to meet the sleeve opening. Then I'll go ahead to connect the sleeve opening to the shoulder slope the way I'm connecting it now. Then on the shoulder slope, I'm going to go up by 1/2 inch, which is going to be my seam allowance for the shoulder, to join the shoulder of the front panel with that of the back panel. So once I'm done with that, the next thing I'm going to do now is to connect the hip line straight to the end of the gown, and I'm going to go ahead and cut it out. Mind you, when you want to cut the neckline, make sure that you cut the neckline of the back panel first. Then after that, you will separate the back panel from the front panel, and you go ahead to cut the neckline of the front panel. This is so that you don't make any mistake in cutting the neckline together. So this is our fabric after we have cut it. So while cutting this, I forgot to add zipper allowance to it. So I'm going to when I'm done with the front panel, I'm going to show you how we are going to create our zipper allowance for the back panel, because I want to add a zipper to it. So now I've spread open my front panel. To attach the net in front, you have to spread it open on the right side. What I'm measuring now is my shoulder measurement, because when I checked the picture that we are using, I realized that the net started from the shoulder on one side. So I'm trying to get my shoulder measurement. So when I got the shoulder measurements, I started making the curve right from the shoulder measurement down to the bust point on the other side, like so. So that is how our net is going to be. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to go ahead and bring the net. So I'm going to open up the net and I'm going to spread it on the fabric. So when I spread it on the fabric, I'm just going to trace out the line that I just drew. Now I'm going to trace it out. Mind you, when you are spreading your net on the fabric, make sure that you pin it together so that it's not going to be shifting. So I've already cut out the net using the pattern that I used. So I decided to pin it down, then I cut the neckline of the net to align with the neckline of the outfit, and that's that about the front panel. So the next thing we go and do is to cut the lining for the front panel. Remember I said the other time that I forgot to add zipper allowance to the back panel, so that's what we'll go ahead and do now. But before then, let's cut out our pockets. To cut your pockets, you just have to place your hand on the fabric that you are using. This is 4 pieces laying on each other. Then I cut it out so that your hand will fit perfectly into the pockets. I added half an inch allowance to it for stitching, so I'll set that aside. So guys, this is the back panel that we want to create the zipper allowance for. The first thing I'm going to do is to measure my zipper on the back panel, where the zipper stop, where I want the zipper to stop. I'm going to mark it out the way I'm doing now. So after marking it out, I'm going to take my scissors and just give it an opening from the neckline down to where I want the zipper to reach. As you can see, I'm cutting it together with the lining. So I'm going to slash both the fabric and the lining to where I marked as the end of my zipper. So I've already done that, and this is what I have. So I'm going to unpin all this fabric. I'm going to unpin the lining from the main fabric. Then I'm going to place the lining on the right side of the fabric. So I'm going to place the lining like so on the right side of the fabric. So once I place it on the right side, I'm going to align the down parts together, because we are using the down parts to turn it. So we align the down parts together. Then I will now draw the lining up to align the neckline together. So I'll start stitching like so. Then I will take it down to the opening for our zipper allowance. Then I will take it up on the other side as well and finish up on the neckline. I hope you got what I said now. If you did not get it, please rewatch this particular clip to understand it very well. So once I do that, I'll take it to my machine and just sew it together. So this is my front panel with the lining. I'm going to place the lining of the front panel on the right side of the front panel. So when I place it on the right side, I'm going to sew down the down part just like we did for the back panel. Then I will draw up the lining as well and sew the neckline together as well. Then I will turn it out on the side after giving it a very good press. After fixing the lining on our fabric, this is what it looks like for the front panel. And as you can see, the neckline is laying properly because I've given it a very good press. So I'll go ahead now and pipe this net area, the down part of the net area. I'm going to lay my bias strip on it and just pipe it all round till I get to the end of the net. So once I do that, I will go to my back panel. So this is my back panel, guys, and I've already given the zipper allowance side a very good press, and as you can see, it's laying very flat. So the next thing I'm going to do is to take my zipper and I'll fold the upper part of this zipper like so. Then I will place it underneath the zipper allowance that we just made. When I place it underneath it, I'll make sure the only part of the zipper that is showing outside is the part where the teeth of the zipper is coming out. Do you get? That's the only part that will be showing outside, because that's the part the zipper will pass through. So I'm going to just go ahead and stitch it down like so. I'll make sure that the stitch is very close to the end of the fabric. So when I get to the down part, I will give it like 2 stitch and take it to the other side. So after stitching the zipper to the back panel and piping the net with the bias strip, I joined the shoulders together. See how our zipper is looking and see how our net part of the fabric is looking. So I already joined the shoulders together. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to work on piping the sleeve. So to pipe the sleeve, I'm going to measure the length of the sleeve. Whatsoever I get is what I will cut out on the this Duchess fabric that we want to use. Then I'm going to go ahead to make the length, the width of the strip to be about 3 inches, and that's what I will use to pipe the neckline. So when I want to pipe the sleeve, I will place the right side of my Duchess fabric on the wrong side of my sleeve and I will stitch it together. Then I will flip it to the right side and fold in the other side like so and stitch it down. So guys, I've already stitched down. The next thing I'll do after that is to attach the pocket to it, and that's all. So this is the final look of our boo boo dress. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.